I see.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another segment of Asaph Cafe. This is our St. Patrick's Day Special 2017. I am your host, Asaph Adonai. You can see my little hat. And our decorations here. We're on our St. Patrick's Day set. I am your host, Asaph Adonai, and on my left, the lovely Louise Bundy, hostess of the new Lawrence Welk Show, by the way, Music with Asaph, as she's joining us. And further on my left, affectionately, our aging rocker Emmett. He's feeling better. Praise God for that. He's just healthy, and we're gonna have some fun. I want to start out with this coming to the right. See if this will work. Perhaps it's not necessarily Irish, but it seems to fit in.
Even though you don't believe in God, mind if I would you be offended if I start off with a quick prayer?
Go ahead.
Heavenly Father, bless our food and our time together in Jesus' name.
Thank you. Let me do this for you guys. Feel free to sing, Louise.
Spinning in the spinning dryer, spinning in the dryer, spinning in the dryer, spinning in the washer. Well, I always sing that.
Oh, okay.
I even sing that stuff to Lawrence Welk albums,
No.
Spinning in the washing machine, it's fascinating there. Can anyone see my head? It looks invisible with the green skin.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. I like that little hat you have. That little hat.
Oh, it's clipped on.
It's a wee hat.
Yep.
It's clipped on, yeah.
Spinning in the dryer. Yeah, actually, I was sick for about a couple of weeks.
There we go.
Yeah.
Coming to the Right is the name of that song.
I love that.
Little Irish song.
Yep.
Well, I'm really glad you're okay now.
Yeah.
You sound great. This is the best I've heard you sound in quite some time.
I wonder if, because I was on antibiotics, it's a long story, but I wonder if I didn't have some sort of latent infection that I didn't know about, because the antibiotics, I still cough a bit, seem to have helped with the allergies. I don't know. I just don't know. They thought it was allergies.
Really?
Yeah, but here's the whole thing. I was over, at Fat Tuesday, just celebrating, Shrove Tuesday, Fat Tuesday, the day before Lent. I was over at the Thomas Mar Bar. I'm not plugging products because you can't do that on MCAT.
I get it.
But I can do a restaurant review. I love the Thomas Mar Bar. They not only have beer, but they have excellent food. So I wanted to get a lot of food, and celebrate. There was an excellent hamburger, which I love. It feels like you're getting 2 meals for the price of one if you get a big meal over there. And some, mashed potatoes, called cannon-type mashed potatoes. Well, I felt chilled. I know it was a cold day, but I kept saying, to the bartender, isn't it cold in here?
Is that when you were first showing signs of not feeling well?
Yes. And she said, well, you're sitting a little close to the door, but it didn't feel like it was cold. I felt cold inside. Then I was having hot flashes.
Oh.
And I looked at the mirror, and I looked kind of pale, and I knew something's not right. I don't have hardly any appetite. This wonderful hamburger is delicious, but I have hardly any appetite, and I had a great appetite, but why don't I have a great appetite? It's Fat Tuesday. I love to celebrate. I'm not feeling very well. Oh, dear. When I get home, I'm going to have to take my temperature. Well, I did. Once I got home, and it was a degree lower. It's 97.4, but I was having the chills real bad, and shivers. When you get the chills, when you get a fever or chills. So I had to go in bed and just shake, and so I started coughing, and then it was back to hot flashes. Then it went to a fever of almost 100.
And that was when you were first, before you
and I thought it was a cold because it just kept blowing my nose, and I seemed to have like an ear infection and was coughing, but it was clear sputum or just whatever. I thought it was just a cold. And do you know the sick taste that you have, or sick smell when you're really sick with an infection? Yeah. I had that going on, sickly sweet odor, and I just said after a few days, if I don't get better, I'm going to the doctor. I went on Saturday to Now Care, and it was a nasal infection, an ear infection, and something because, bronchitis. But so they gave me antibiotics, amoxicillin and Agmontin.
Well, you're sounding just really great. So how often do we have to take those medications?
Well, I was twice a day for 10 days, and I finished the whole course, so I'm now a lot better. But
yeah, you sound great, and I'm glad you're on the St. Pat's special. That's way cool.
But that was quite an infection. As a matter of fact, it was the Friday, and I realized tomorrow I've got to go to the doctor because this is Friday, and they always have the what do you call it? The Star Trek, the old series marathons on BBC America, from the '60s. Well, I was so wiped out at 9 o'clock. My favorite episode, the Doomsday Machine, was coming on.
Okay.
And I said, you know what? This is my favorite episode. I'd love to see it. I've seen it a billion other times, but I am too tired. I need to go to bed and skip my favorite episode. And I knew I better go to see the doctor because something is not right. I am very ill if I can't stay awake to see my favorite episode. It's only 9 o'clock at night.
Now, you know William Wyndham was the actor in that Doomsday Machine.
Yeah.
And what I liked about that episode, it was credible. You know, his psychological issue.
Yeah.
Because he lost his crew.
Right.
And he hijacks the ship. He's just fixed on killing that Doomsday Machine.
Well, he was also knew that he was going to give his own life, you know, because he had to fly the ship right down to the mouth.
Exactly.
And that, you know, from a psychological point of view, that's very credible.
It was.
I saw a documentary on that episode.
Oh, cool.
With William Wyndham. They were talking about the Doomsday Machine and his
You mean the one that played Captain Christopher Pike? No, not Captain.
No. William Wyndham that played Captain Decker.
Captain Decker, yeah, that's what I meant to say, Captain Decker.
Or Commodore Decker.
Commodore Decker, yeah.
There's 2 Deckers, you know, in the Star Wars series. The other one was in the 79 movie.
Yeah.
But we're talking about Commodore Decker.
Right.
But yeah, they had a documentary on William Wyndham. They were talking about his performance and how believable that character he played.
Yeah, it was,
From a psychological point of view.
Sure. Well, he'd sent his crew down to a planet that didn't exist. You know, the planet
wiped
was
away,
wiped out.
Yeah, he got trapped on his ship after he sent his crew, and then they got wiped out.
Exactly.
And they were begging for help, and he couldn't help them.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were talking about that on the documentary, and it was pretty cool.
They never figured out the origin of that machine.
Yeah, it must have come from another galaxy made by an alien race, a doomsday weapon.
They gave him free reign to
Wonderful.
Work outside the script to play that
Wonderful. And he did a great job.
Yeah, he took advantage of that.
He did an excellent job acting. That's hard acting. That's excellent.
Yeah, when they gave him free reign. In fact, the directors on the documentary are saying, we can't figure out how we're going to make this work.
Yeah.
And so the director said, I'm going to go out and have a smoke. You just go out and have liberties.
Wonderful.
And so he started taking liberties while the director was out. When the director came back and they were repeating the film, it worked. So
yeah, definitely.
So,
Cool.
but you're right. You know,
that was fantastic acting.
Yeah, if you can ad lib and improvise your way through things like that.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not speaking at my best, but my body clock is still messed up because of daylight savings time.
You sound fine, but yeah. Oh.
Yeah, but I'm not thinking clearly because I couldn't even remember Commodore Decker's name. I thought it was, Captain Christopher Pike because this whole daylight savings time we had on Monday, it still messed up my internal body clock. It feels like it's 10 o'clock when I guess it's 11:30 right now or whatever it is.
In Arizona where you're from, they don't celebrate that.
I know.
I understand.
And there's a bill in the legislature. I don't normally talk about politics, but I hope they pass it to eliminate daylight savings time.
Well,
it would be so much better for me.
Just keep the time, wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
Because our body clocks get completely messed up, especially when you lose an hour's sleep. It just doesn't feel right,
You have a tissue or anything?
I have a tissue.
It just doesn't feel right, and so my mind just isn't working the way it should.
This time it'll go through to November of this year.
If they pass it. If they pass it.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the daylight.
Oh, yeah. And then we'll fall back again. Oh, bye.
And we'll gain an hour of sleep.
It's easier for me than losing an hour.
Yeah. Well, I was up listening to music until 3 o'clock Sunday night, which actually turned out to be 4 o'clock Sunday morning, so I didn't get much sleep at all to go to work the next day.
But anyway, I'm feeling better now with the Augmentin help, the amoxicillin. I'm really glad they gave that to me. Good. Because, again, I would have been still sick, the whole thing.
Yeah, the whole idea is not to take antibiotics too often.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
when you have an infection, that's definitely what you need to do.
Yeah, antibiotics have saved my life more than once, really.
Yeah, great stuff.
Yeah.
The problem is if you take them too often, your body builds up a resistance.
Yeah, or if but you can't take them with viruses, but with infections, when you need to, you need to take them.
Absolutely. I had an infection in my gum about 3-4 months ago, and I had to take them too.
Yeah, one time when I first moved into my place, basically I had bronchitis going to pneumonia, and I was laid in bed, but they had to give me some Z-Pak, zithromycin. That cleared it up. I would have been dead if I'd gone to pneumonia fully. Yeah. Just, wheezing out my last kind of coughing, horrible fever, it's awful. but I decided, like I've often done with other infection, I disinfected everything. I washed all my bedding in the washing machine, all my bedding, all my other clothes, all my blankets, everything, so it'd be sterilized, with the hot water,
Oh, sure.
Oh, so you had to sterilize all that when you...
Yeah. After I got better off the amoxicillin, I decided to wash everything in the hot water in the washing machine. Just do my laundry of all the blankets, all the bedding, everything, just to make sure it was disinfected from any bacteria.
Right.
All right, let's have some fun. I'm going to play a song. Tell me if any of you know this song. I'm going to do a little intro first.
The dishwasher dances in the coffee cup?
Oh, no. Let's see if you recognize this.
Days of All My Children?
Yeah.
All My Children, yep.
I didn't think anybody would remember that. That's the original theme.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you believe that show was on for 40 years? Yikes.
Yeah.
40 years. It's off the air now. But
Yeah, I know.
That was the original theme song. I'll do
Oh,
it
look, I can put this on my head. Isn't that fascinating?
You do the Grinch Proud.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I watched the Carol Burnett show at night on MTV, and she often mentions, she used to watch All My Children religiously, and she often mentions characters. And the audience also watches, and they'll have a little conversation with the audience about
You know,
it.
she once said that you could be gone for like 6 months, and when you
come back,
they're
That's
still
true.
doing what they were talking about when you first left. That
Yeah,
was funny too.
That's true. That's one thing I don't like about soaps. I watch one soap, and they do carry things on for weeks and weeks and weeks. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, right already, get it over with, So.
I don't like soaps because they're so depressing and dreary, like Bad Daydreams. I don't like it.
Really?
It's depressing, all the, the double crossing and all the murders and all the breakups and all the this and that and who's cheating on who's backstabbing who's setting up someone for who, and it's depressing.
Well, I watch them. Well, I like the characters, but I watch the soap because that way I get to gossip about somebody that's
Yeah.
not really real.
That's a good
And you're not
point.
hurting anybody's feelings.
Good point.
But you get to talk about people. So it satisfies my
Like,
need to gossip.
like I said, I've said this on this show many times. If I were making a soap opera, I would make a happy one where someone moves into a beautiful small town and everything is perfect with their lives. They have a beautiful marriage, they have beautiful easy listening, wonderful
but nobody
food, and
would
a
be able to
beautiful
relate to
family.
that.
Yeah,
It
but
would
that's
work,
not life.
And everything is every day is better than the next, and
Yeah.
everyone is so
They had an
happy.
episode of Star Trek Voyager where this guy, the doctor, he wanted to experience what it was like being human because
Yeah.
he's like
Right.
it's not really human.
Right.
And so he had this ideal family, and everything was perfect. The kids were like, yes, Mom, and yes, Dad. And that Klingon lady, the character that navigates the ship, she said, no one's going to relate to
No.
this. So she reprogrammed.
Oh no.
She reprogrammed the what do they call it,
The
the holodeck and
Mhm.
everything to give this doctor what it was like for real.
Yeah.
Rebellious kids,
Yeah.
bad stuff,
Yeah.
So he got a lesson. He
Yeah.
got an earful.
Interesting,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was on Star Trek Voyager. They had that episode.
Whoa.
But without bad stuff happening, you wouldn't be able to appreciate the good stuff happening.
I don't think you could grow either.
No, you wouldn't.
You gotta wait till you get to heaven before you can.
Yeah, yeah.
But in the meantime, when you're down here, it's Law and Order.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite shows, the Law & Order SVU. That's
Oh,
fantastic. I love that.
Yes, me too. Christopher Merloni is my favorite.
Was he the one that played Elliot Stabler?
Stabler, yeah.
He was fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh man, he's
And
great.
Mariska Hargitay's good too.
Yeah, it's such great acting, and it's hard because those are difficult stories, but they're
Yeah.
important stories.
No kidding.
Has it won any Emmys? I never watched the
I'm
Emmys.
sure it has.
Because that is fantastic
Yeah,
acting,
sure it
especially
is.
the children actors who are playing children actors. That's hard for they must have been prepped and coached how to act, what to
I'm
do,
sure.
a lot of
Yeah.
counseling. Because those are all hard roles to play, especially
Yeah.
the villains.
Yes.
Like, I mean, if you're playing a bad guy who's like a horrible person who's doing those horrible things in Law and Order SVU, one of the bad guys that gets directed for sex crimes or whatever, it doesn't mean you're doing that in real life.
Of
You're not a
course not.
pervert or an evil person in real life.
No, it's
you know?
just acting.
Right.
It's
Someone
like,
has to play the bad
it's like
guy.
Roots, the actors, they're like Sandy Duncan. They're all nice people in real life.
Yeah, exactly.
And they said in documentaries that when they were playing these bad people, it was hard.
It was
on them.
really
Yeah,
hard. I've
yeah.
seen some
really
of
hard on
those.
them when they went home at
Yeah.
night.
Ed Asner had a really hard time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
with
Chuck
that.
Connors did too.
Yeah, he did.
The rifleman,
Should I
because
pop
he.
in? I'll bring
Yes, you can pop right on in.
Sure.
Because, he's known for such
Oh yeah, the
Law and
wrongful-
Order street
Yeah,
fighter, right?
exactly.
He said he went home at night, he just almost cried.
Yeah.
It was so hard.
And especially since what he was acting about
You can
was
stand
true.
behind Emmett if you want, if that would make it easier.
Well, just sit a minute and see how you guys
Well,
are
you're not
doing.
on
Oh, wonderful.
There we go. There. So, happy St. Patty's Day,
Yeah,
you
wonderful,
guys.
thanks.
I think the set looks wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
does.
this is our 151st Asaph Cafe.
Congratulations! Isn't that
Last Thursday was
something?
the milestone 150. And
Yeah.
we were in the set, the Africa set.
Yes.
So
That's
thanks for
that's
joining us
wonderful.
for a moment. And Emmett is sounding really well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you
Well,
do
I'm better
sound
now
better.
that I'm, because I was sick, remember?
I do indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really sick for a
And you
couple
took your
weeks.
antibiotics and
Yeah,
all
and I'm
that.
finished with the course of 10 days, yep.
Okay, now you can involve yourself in Lent right on.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Without any
yeah.
restrictions.
That's
You
coming
can
up here,
deny
too, yeah.
yourself.
Well, that's already here, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Must be in the middle.
Sorry, I
So
didn't know.
Not in the middle, but-
151.
Yeah, this is 151, our
Mm.
St. Patrick's Day. And I was going to say a year ago, St. Pat's
Yeah.
Fox was on.
Yeah, isn't that
Message later on,
something?
yeah.
Yeah.
And
he
then
wanted to
his
get married,
His
his
wedding.
live wedding
Yeah,
occurred
so-
2 months later.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah. So
So let that be a message to people out there in TV land. If you are seeking matrimony, this might be the place to start.
yes,
Yeah.
at Asaph Cafe, you get married just like Harold did, right?
Yeah.
Asaph Cafe.
Well, Asaph, what would you say to people watching, that may want to make their own show? Maybe they could.
I would just say, just come to MCAT studio and
Yeah. I
watch
mean, it
other
hasn't been that
people.
hard, right,
Yeah.
to do the setup, and hopefully we're taking care of the technical problems as they come up.
Yeah, you got those new toys for the studio. And the
Yeah,
lighting
the
system is
mic,
perfect
and of course the
everything.
green screen.
Yeah, and I like how you see Happy St. Pat's Day. It's showing up there. So.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Along with what looks like that scroll work, like fireworks, or the kind of scroll work you'll see on a fiddle or something like that.
Yeah. Let's see. That reminds
Did you guys talk about the movie Darby O'Gill and the Little People?
Oh, no.
Never heard of it.
Oh, it's
Oh,
wonderful.
yeah.
It's an old one, but it's good. It's
Yeah.
really cute.
It's not a bad St. Patty's Day recommendation.
Exactly.
I know some children have been scared by it.
Oh,
I've
yeah,
never heard of
the
it.
Little
because
People.
of the leprechauns?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know where leprechauns had come from. Folk tales or
I'm sure.
something.
I read on, they're now playing on the Sounds of the Season, 941, that basically, and now they're playing Irish music because it has Sounds of the Season.
Yeah.
They have little tidbits. They said that in Irish lore, leprechauns were cranky fairies or old type of fairy people that would mend the shoes of other fairies.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well, it seems like they're nice. I don't know why they lead to a pot of gold either.
I don't know.
nor do I, yeah.
I don't know where that had come from.
Huh.
We had on our talk show, Missoula Live, on Monday, your friend, Terry.
Oh, yeah,
Trela
fantastic,
O'Riordan.
Yeah.
He came and he did a little promoting for the Irish Studies at the University
Wonderful.
of Montana. And there they would teach people Gaelic if they
Yes,
wanted to
wonderful.
learn it.
Wow.
And the mining town of Butte, not far away from here, it boasted at one time of the largest population of Irish outside of Ireland. When the copper mine there was going at its peak at the turn of the 20th
Even
century.
bigger than New York?
Bigger than New York.
My.
Yeah, Butte had something like 120,000 inhabitants.
Oh.
Wow.
And maybe 90%, I don't have
I'll
any
be
clue, were Irish. And the Finns were a big other population there too.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah, so there's a lot of Ireland in Montana. I guess
Yep.
it looks like Ireland. I've never been, but I always imagine it's super green because it rains every day.
Yeah.
Right. And they have long history.
They do,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, the Celts go back 1,000 years.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah.
And Missoula's about to look like Ireland, right?
Yeah.
When the rainy season comes in late April
Yeah.
and in
yeah.
May, when the lilacs will be in blossom and the L&M Mountain will be verdant and Waterworks Hill.
Yeah.
Only lasts like 3 weeks, 4 weeks
Uh-huh.
before the straw hay of summer comes on. But
Yeah.
it's going to be great.
Yeah.
Well, I've got to run an errand, but thank you so much for the
Thanks.
invitation.
Certainly, thank you.
And Asa, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
151 shows. Someday, well, it's like the tortoise and the hare. You might catch up to
Yeah.
Emmett's
485 shows plus about 150, 200 specials. So 485, 500, at least 685 shows.
Well, that's right. So it might be the year 2035. I don't know. And you guys will be all caught up.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
But have a
Thanks,
wonderful
sir.
show. Thank
Thank
you for
you.
the invite.
Okay. Bye, Joe.
See you soon.
That was fun. I was playing New York.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Yeah, that was quite a part. In fact, in Boston as well. Boston was very Irish. A lot of the police officers in Boston were Irish.
Mhm.
And they had a parade every St.
I
Patrick's
wonder if
Day.
they're going to have anything this year because the winter weathers that they were talking about.
Oh, I don't know, because the
Yeah.
marathon is going to be next month.
Yeah.
So I don't think they'll cancel that, but yeah, the marathon is in April.
And can you believe it was a year ago since that disaster?
Oh, yeah. Was it a year?
Or maybe 2 years. No,
Yeah,
2 years.
2
Yeah.
years.
What disaster?
The bombing.
When those attackers attacked
The Boston Marathon.
Oh, yes, yes, I
Years ago,
forgot about that. Yeah, yeah.
Time just flies. I
Yeah.
mean, 1 year with Harrow, 2 years
Yeah.
with that.
I know.
But I'm sure security would be tight so people
Yeah,
can
Yeah.
they
go
went,
on with
they ran
their
last year and it
normal
was
lives.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever
It's
been in
fine.
a marathon?
No, I never have. I've been in the St. Patrick's Day parade that we had a few days ago. I was in that, but I've never been in a marathon. I'm not much of a
Did you have a
runner.
costume on or anything?
No, I just had this on. I was giving out candy to the kids and
No,
waving to
that's
everyone. It's really nice,
Oh,
you know.
Good, good.
MCAT was furnishing the candy,
Yes.
obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm a dancer, I don't run.
Mhm.
Yeah.
In fact, riding horses was hard because for horses you turn in and for dance you turn out, so my legs weren't
So
quite short.
you're able to start dancing again now?
Oh yeah.
You can do it again?
Yeah, I just need to get, back into, get my
Yeah.
wing back. It's the big thing.
Yeah, and I need to
So.
start practicing more hours again, too.
Yeah.
Let me try some of that Chopin. I've been really working on
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
I can't really remember how I got into Irish music. Thing is, I love Irish music now. I've loved it for about 20 years. When I first heard about St. Patrick's Day, I was not impressed because I thought that was just something you did as kids. You dressed up in green so you wouldn't get pinched by the other kids. And I hated St. Patrick's Day because of that, because I always had to wear green so I wouldn't get pinched and bullied. But I thought St. Patrick's Day was only about leprechauns and only about Irish eyes are smiling and I'm a leprechaun on St. Patrick's Day. I was not impressed. I don't know how I got involved. I used to go to MISCON, the science fiction convention here, and they always had at the Huckster's Room, and they did have Irish CDs, and I must have picked those up, or my mother gave me some, and I found I loved it. And have you ever heard of a show called Thistle and Shamrock on PBS
haven't.
Radio? I want to say KUFM Radio.
Oh, okay.
It's a show from Ireland. The host, Fiona Ritchie. It's Irish music from Ireland. It's for an hour. I always forget it's Monday, 9 to 10. It used to be on Saturdays, and now I keep forgetting to listen to it. But it had the most incredible, it still does, Irish fiddle music, Irish singing, Gaelic, just right from Ireland.
Nice.
And I was like, this is incredible music, and I kept recording it,
Yeah.
recording it, and recording it. Like, this is not about leprechauns and Irish eyes are smiling. This is fiddle music to burn the house down. I love this Irish music now, so I just found I loved Irish music and Irish culture, and and I
That's
used.
pretty cool,
Yeah. Well, that's where our bluegrass came from.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
It was just incredible. It's like, this is not cheesy. I'm a leprechaun on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
This is wonderful.
Exactly.
Wow,
Oh,
this music is great.
Have any of you had any of your corned beef and cabbage yet?
Not yet. Probably tomorrow. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
going, yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it is,
it's
actually.
one of my favorite dishes. In fact, Reuben sandwiches are my absolute favorite sandwiches.
Yeah, I like it with the margarine melted over, or fried, the bread fried on margarine.
Oh, sure.
I like it that way, and then just sliced at an angle.
Oh, yeah,
Really
absolutely.
good.
Yeah, Sean Kelly's, they used to have a great thing. Unfortunately, they don't do it anymore, sadly, but the Sean Kelly's, when it used to be Sean Kelly's, now the Thomas Mar Bar, but they used to have an Irish buffet for $10 to $15 and live Irish band music, live Irish music, and they would even have a beer garden, and they would have Irish music piped in, and beer gardens and beer tents, and Irish, sometimes late at night, Irish actual fiddle bands like from Finnegan Ridge and some others, and you could just dance to it, and it was magnificent. It was always crowded.
Yeah.
You could barely get a beer, but you had space for dancing to the live Irish music,
Nice.
and it was a wonderful, wonderful time. I
That's
loved
great.
Oh,
it.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore,
Oh,
sadly.
Have you ever seen the Celtic women shows on PBS?
Occasionally, not much. Yeah.
They do. Yeah.
Yeah,
play
they do.
fiddles
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Do a
Yeah.
nice job.
Mm-hmm.
Nice job.
But I love authentic Irish music, and it's fantastic.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
It's a lot, very lively. You know.
I love the Clancy Brothers. Ever hear of the Clancy Brothers? They're fantastic,
I've heard of them,
excellent
yeah.
Irish music from Ireland. I love the Clancy Brothers. I love, what's that other one that is similar to the Clancy Brothers? Oh, and I've forgotten its name. Thanks to Daylight Savings Time. Yeah,
I've heard of the Irish Rovers.
yeah, the Irish Rovers are very good too. Yes, absolutely, they're fantastic.
Yeah. Now, you know who St. Pat was, right?
Yes, I do know who St. Patrick's was. Yes,
They say that
absolutely.
He rid Ireland of all the snakes.
Well, actually, that was just lore. He converted Ireland to Catholicism and got rid of the pagans, but it wasn't actual snakes.
Right.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's in the paintings that he's driving out the snakes, but that
Right.
wasn't the actual thing. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, definitely, definitely. Yeah, I love the Irish Rovers. I love the Clancy Brothers. Oh yeah, just some others. Oh, I love the Chieftains. I
Oh,
love
yeah,
the Chieftains. I
yeah,
love the
yeah,
Chieftains.
I've heard a lot of their music.
I love Dropkick Murphys, Irish punk band. I went to one of their gigs when they came to town. I love it. Fantastic energy. I love this,
wow.
Dropkick Murphys. I love the
Yeah.
Dropkick Murphys. Yeah.
That's
I know
great.
this isn't exactly Irish, but you
Yeah.
Oh, I
guys
love the
keep
Pogues.
talking.
Have you ever heard of the Pogues? They're really fast, high energy Irish music. I have a couple of their albums. Fantastic. It's even a friend of mine described it as the Chipmunks playing Irish music, but it's just so high energy. They just rock out. No, 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 go to the waxy star. Go on, no, no, no. It's kind of like Irish punk. Somewhere I went to the Elvish monger, kicked out of the boozer.
Oh my goodness.
That's
You're
great.
back.
Yep,
He's back.
yep, definitely.
Oh, that reminds me. You weren't here. Em and I were talking about that punk rock scene in that Star Trek movie.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Did you? I don't know if you saw
I
that or
probably
not.
didn't, but
William Shatner's character. They go back to San Francisco to the 20th century, and they had this punk rocker on the San Francisco Beauty bus. He had this big boom box like this.
oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And how did that song go that he was singing?
We're in the future, the training's put on its
Yeah,
head.
yeah.
Let's not play the. Let's
Here,
just
let
push
me,
the
let me get
button.
some chords. Here was. Here in the future.
Let's said, let's push the button. We'd be better off dead. 'Cause I hate you and I derate you and I can't wait to get to you.
He's drowning
Yeah,
everybody out.
yeah, it's
Oh,
hilarious.
dear.
Captain Kirk goes, "Excuse me, you mind turning that music down?"
Yeah.
So the guy gives him the
Cranked it
middle
up
finger
and gives him
cranks
a little
it
thing.
even
Yeah.
Ah,
Oh yeah.
Spock reaches over and gives him the
Yeah,
finger.
hilarious.
And his head falls right on the box.
Hilarious. Turns it off. It's hilarious.
oh no.
Yeah, that's called the punk rock scene.
That's-
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked up the bio on that actor that played the
Uh-huh.
punk rocker. He's a professional writer.
Yeah.
That would explain how he was able to play that character in that scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he wrote that song too.
Yeah. He did.
Yeah.
Band Edge of Etiquette. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like one of those professional, like
Yeah,
John
yeah.
Williams kind of
Oh.
composers,
Mhm.
and he just came up with that song for that scene. And
Cool.
he spiked it, like
Spiked
spiked
his
it.
hair.
So,
Yeah, it's
he just had, he
fantastic.
had that look, you know.
Ah.
That was fantastic.
I've never understood that. You know, why the spiked hair, the dyed hair, and all that stuff.
Oh, that's easy. It's a rejection of society. I used to be a
Yeah.
punk rocker.
Did you?
Oh, I used to, that was how my show came to be. I used to, thing is, my show, The Awful Truth About Society, came because I was a punk rocker, because there used to be a place at the mall called, what was it called?
Well,
I
moved here
forgot
in
the name of it.
2008, So if it was before 2008, I wouldn't know.
It was 1994. It was called. I cannot even ever name of the record store. I would have to go back to my first episode. But there was a record and tape store that I liked. That had a lot of punk rock albums and tapes, and I can't remember its name now. I can't. I wish I could remember the name of it. But anyway, they wouldn't give me a job because I had a mohawk. They weren't hiring anyway, but I thought maybe I could work here at this place, the record store. I can't remember it. Thank you, Daylight Savings Time. But anyway, Yeah, and they said, well, what if I cover it with a baseball cap on my head? And they said, no, you can't. We won't still hire you. And I said, but in the 1970s you could do that. And they said, this isn't the 70s. These are the 90s.
You know, that reminds me of that time I told you that story when I was 16 years old. I went into this like really fancy restaurant in Sacramento, and there was an African American manager, owner, I guess. And I had these loud yellow pants on. I mean, like color, just loud, it was straight colored. And so I walked in there and asked for an application. He happened to come up to me. He's like sizing me up, like, young man, you think you're gonna come into this restaurant with those pants on? I said, well, and it kind of bothered me. I was respectful, but it bothered me because he didn't know the circumstances that was going on in my family at that time, which was pretty dark, and that was why I was wearing those pants. He goes, young man, you go home and you change your clothes, put some better clothes on, and come back and I'll give you an application. I was crushed.
Yeah, definitely.
I was. Yeah. So I understand how you feel, and I can see why the punk people like want to rebel against that.
Exactly.
You know?
So I was sitting in the coffee shop, Coffee Road, and decided, I've heard of MCAT. I think I'm going to suppose disc jockey. That was the name of it, disc jockey, and all of the other evils in society that have been angering me. So that's how I started the awful truth about society, because I used to have the big spiky mohawk, the leather jackets that change everything.
I got one of his videos about 20 years ago when he was younger. He really had that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I used to be a hardcore punk with the music, everything. It's a rejection of society and conformity, where you have to wear a suit and a tie for work and be prim and proper all the time. So punk rockers decided, we're going to show how alienated we are from society by shaving our heads, spiking our mohawks, and dyeing it orange and blue and green, and really reject everyone. We're doing basically, to heck with you, society. If you don't like us being different, we're really going to be different, and our weird, angry music will reflect how angry we are in society.
And that goes back to that scene in Star Trek, because
exactly.
you think of the lyrics of that song.
It was just anger against society.
It sounds like that time period.
It did, yeah.
Well, see, the premise of that episode, I don't know how much of that movie you saw. The premise was Captain Kirk and his crew had to go back and kidnap two humpback whales and bring them into the future to repopulate the species.
Right. I do remember that now.
Yeah,
I don't remember that scene for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, that movie's a lot older. That movie's like, what, 30 years old now?
Probably, yeah. But I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah, and, a lot of people don't remember that.
Yeah.
Because, William Shatner is like 84 now.
Yeah.
In real life.
Yeah.
And that whole generation is just about gone.
Oh, I know.
Almost everybody on that series is gone.
I know. Yeah, I see Nichelle Nichols advertising once in a great while.
Yeah, and her hair is solid.
It's white. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it weren't for that voice, you wouldn't even know that's her.
I know. When I first saw it, I went, wow. Yeah. William Shatner actually used to show saddlebred, American saddlebred horses. And I've shown one time I've showed with him, because walkers and saddlebreds are fairly closely related. And saddlebred people don't like walker people and vice versa. But anyway, yeah, he used to show saddlebreds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a career William Shatner had. I looked up his bio. He's got a ton of television.
Oh, I remember him in that Twilight Zone episode.
Yes, I do.
Remember when they were in the diner and they were asking the little fortune teller?
Yeah, I thought that was ridiculous. Because that could happen in real life. A person could do that in real life. So it wasn't weird enough for me.
I know.
Well, he's done shows like the Barbary Coast. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And of course, T.J. Hooker. Let's see if I can figure that.
Yeah, I saw him as a criminal in one show, one cowboy show the other day. I forgot what it was, but anyway. Yeah, he's done a lot. The Twilight Zone, where you saw the gremlin.
Yeah.
The plane,
Yes.
So, a lot of things.
Something like that.
Yeah. I never liked T.J. Hooker. It bored me. So it's
I didn't either.
Like I said, the reason I had to not abandon the punk rock movement, but it's because I'm still a punk rocker at heart, but retire, it was at the Dropkick Murphys concert, the gig. I was slam dancing. I love slam dancing. If for the audience you don't know, have anyone heard of slam dancing?
I know of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love moshing. I love slam dancing. They call it moshing, where you just slam into each other with the punk rock music. It's wonderful.
You have to be young to do this. It's just like that break dancing. You're spinning on your head. I couldn't do that in a million years. My neck would hurt just watching them young guys spin around.
Well, anyway, it was a wonderful gig. I was slam dancing for 3 hours. Normally, I could take it like I was 25, but I was 47. I couldn't do it. The next morning, I was all bruised up. My legs were bruised up. My ribs were all bruised up, and I felt like I've been run over by a truck.
Yeah,
And
wow.
kept praying about, Lord, I don't know about this. I don't know if I can do this. And one of the people at the bank actually was at the slam dancing, and he was just fine, and he was a banker. And I went, Lord, I can't keep up with these kids. I can't keep up with the punk rockers anymore. I feel like a fifth wheel. And to me, slam dancing is part of being a punk rocker. If I can't go to shows, why should I?
You've got your show, and you can be a tamer punk rocker.
I can't.
You know?
I can't be a tame punk rocker. To me, it's all or nothing. So, Lord, if it is all right with you, do you mind if I retire from the punk rock community? Because I don't want to slow them down. I think I'd be a fifth wheel getting in the way more than helping it with the young kids that can slam dance. And this Lord seemed to say, Emmett, what do you want? It's up to you. Whatever you decide, that's great.
Well, there's no saying to thine own self be true if you can't do it physically.
I can't do it anymore. I can't. I still love Dropkick Murphys and the music, but
that's cool.
And even actually, I listened to a lot more Gordon Lightfoot and easy listening. I've always loved that than punk rock anymore. So it's just best, you know. And I think the punk rock scene's kind of dead. I haven't heard of any new bands. There are no punk rockers in town. I think punk rock, as far as the scene, is dying out anyway because it was our generation that did it.
Right. It was probably just.
We're all too old to do this anyway, you know. It was a generational thing, like the Greasers or the Beatniks or the Hippies. You know, it was a generational thing. So
yeah, you don't hear about beatniks and stuff.
No. But it was an actual philosophy. It was a rejection of society, conformity. We had our own. It was a punk rock community. We had our fanzines we'd have our shows, the bands we liked, and punk rockers would get together, drink beer, listen to punk rock music, discuss how they hated society. I've done that with many punks before.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful community. It was tribal. They really cared about each other, loved each other. It was really a family-oriented feeling, and they were kids or teenagers or young adults that were just very poor.
Well, here's a story
very
I want to
poor,
share with
very
you
poor,
about,
you know,
not
dirt
to
poor.
judge a book by its cover.
Right.
The punk rock movement. I was playing at the Billings Hotel. This is years ago. I didn't even live in Missoula. And this 16-year-old kid, he had the look. He had the leather jacket, the hair, just the spike. And you know, I don't care. He sat next to the piano, and I was just playing, and he was listening, and he liked it. And then we got to talking, and I asked him if he knew how to play the piano. He said, "Yeah, I play a little bit." And I told him, "I'm going to take a break, so why don't you just play a tune?" This kid and his parents was nearby, so I was talking to his parents. This kid sat down and he played the Chopin Minute Waltz at lightning speed.
Wow.
And I looked at his parents, and they were smiling. And his mom goes, "He's going through whatever he's going through, but he knows how to play his classical music." He didn't miss a beat. He played that whole piece, and he had everybody frozen. I mean, he had the chains, it's everything.
Yeah.
And he played the Chopin Minute Waltz all the way through.
Nice.
Well, he's probably one of those protege kids or something. He was just going through the rebellious stage. His mom was like, he's just going through whatever teenagers go through.
Yeah, all teenagers do.
And he liked my playing. I was like, hey, I like your play. You're up there playing the Minute Waltz.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was one of the most amazing things. You should have seen the reaction of the people in the hotel, people checking in. Because, you know, like you were saying, we all wear our normal clothes, and this kid was as punk as they can get.
Yeah.
Well, he was 16 years old.
Exactly. Well, I was
to play a piece like that without missing a beat at lightning speed.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it was amazing, and that just reminded me not to judge a book by its cover.
Absolutely. Well, you know, I was a punk rocker for about 22 years, a hardcore one, but it just after that I had to retire because my body couldn't take it. You know, it doesn't mean I never sold out, folks, to become a nice, normal person. I'm not a normal person, but my body couldn't do it anymore.
Well, you got to remember, okay, let's see, this was something like 15, 20 years ago when that happened, so if he was 16 then, he'd be probably in his 30s by now. So I doubt he's walking around with spiky hair. Now he's probably playing somewhere, some club in Los Angeles
who knows?
These days.
Yeah, really.
Or something like that. But it was just an amazing thing to see this kid going through the rebellious stage and yet play Chopin as well as he did.
That's great. That's a great story.
Yeah, it is.
His mom was like, we don't know what to do with this kid. We're just going to let him go through what he's going through.
Yeah.
But at least he practiced.
Obviously.
Yeah, he did.
That's great.
He'd have a look. He'd go to school looking like that, and Probably did concerts in school like that, I
Yeah,
suppose.
probably. But but if you in school, it's like probably the norm for him.
Yeah,
Everybody else was looking like
at
that.
that time. So
Yeah.
But that was a neat experience to watch this kid.
Yeah.
He was just a kid. He
Yeah.
thought like a kid,
Sure.
acted like a kid. And I don't know why he liked my piano playing, but he did.
Well, I've always been a conformist as far as appearance goes.
Well,
But-
yeah, I know. I agree with you on the appearance
But on the
thing, but-
mental, on the
Yeah,
intellectual
inside the
side,
head,
yeah, not so much. You know, and I think you may get more people's attention that way by conforming and at least not setting up this barrier of appearance and then getting inside their head. You know?
Oh, I know what you mean. Well, I see both sides because I see Emmett's.
Yeah,
point of view.
exactly.
Oh, sure, I see his point of view also as
Yeah.
well.
And that's why when I saw that scene in that Star Trek movie, it was so funny.
Yeah,
It was just so funny,
Yeah.
that scene.
no kidding. You remember the one about Eden?
Huh?
You talking about the
hippies
original
with the original
Star Trek?
Star Trek?
Yeah, that was on recently.
Oh, was it?
The one with when they were going to the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was on about 2 weeks ago, I think it
Oh,
was.
see, I don't get to watch it anymore because I'm
Yeah, I
away
love that
on Saturday
episode.
night. Yeah, with the hippies.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing.
That's kind of. I'm not saying biblical, but I think that they were borderline on that.
Yeah, they
It's
were.
Like, they're looking for a planet Eden.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
looking for a perfect paradise,
Yeah.
and of course they get to this planet,
Yeah,
and
and it's
the grass is acid.
Yeah.
It's acid grass, acid trees,
Right.
and everything's poisonous.
Yeah.
And Adam was the name of the
The leader.
leader, one
Yeah.
of the guys that the guitar guy that ate
Right.
the apple,
Right.
and his name was Adam, and
Yeah.
he's gone. And then Dr. Severin, I think the main leader, who was
Yeah.
insane according to
Yeah.
Mr. Spock.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that was a
Well, they
pretty
wouldn't
cool
listen to the
episode.
science of, the scientific proof of what was on the planet,
Mhm.
everybody, and
It just looked
analyzed
like a
it.
gorgeous planet.
Oh,
like
It
a
is.
paradise
and then they
or
get
something,
there
you
and
know?
it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool though when the guy played with, Mr. Spock played with the guy.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
the jam session.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Let's see if I can figure out how to
yeah,
something like.
something like that.
Yeah, I loved that song.
Yeah, me too.
Heading out to Eden.
Let's see if I can. Let me see if I can figure it out. Hold on.
Heading out to Eden.
Mm-hmm.
Yay, brother.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that.
No more worries and troubles in my body or my mind. Gonna live like a king on whatever I find. Eat of the
Something
fruit
like that.
and
I don't
throw
know.
away the rind. Yay, brother. I love that song.
Yeah.
I sang that when I first saw it as a teenager. I just sang that. I love that song.
Yeah.
You know, 50 minutes have already gone by.
Yep.
We're almost out of time.
My
Mhm.
goodness.
Yeah, so, but yeah, that was a pretty cool episode it was on. Oh, and we lost Don Marshall, too. I did not know that.
Oh,
The actor on Land of the Giants.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, I just happened to look up Land of the Giants just yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, with all that fake news going around,
Yeah.
you don't know what's true, because like on Facebook, when you click that, then it introduces viruses and stuff.
Mm.
oh.
And I had that happen to me, and I had to literally unplug the computer, and then it disappeared.
Oh, wow.
And so I saw this thing, and it said tribute to Don Marshall, and it had like the two birth and my first reaction, yeah, right, because I was just watching him on TV.
Uh-huh.
So I went to the main Google page, and yeah, he's gone.
Oh.
He passed away October 2016
Oh, wow.
at 80-something years old. And he was trying to put a Land of the Giants movie together,
Oh.
but it never took off.
Mhm. Well, the show, I started watching it for a while,
Mhm.
but it's the same premise every
Yeah.
week. They get captured by some giants and figure out how to get away from them. And
Yeah, he was
You know.
trying to figure out a way to make a movie, but that'll probably never happen now.
no.
Yeah.
Because almost everyone on that show is gone now.
Yeah, and there wasn't enough of a plot, I don't think, to really.
I
And
liked
they were,
it.
he was going to
I
call it
liked
Escape from the planet, the Land of the Giants,
Yeah.
Yeah.
to get back to Earth.
Exactly.
And he wanted to use the cast, the way they are older, that they were trapped in the Land of the Giants all those years and trying to get off, but that never
Oh, I
happened.
see.
Yeah, it never happened.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Mm-hmm.
So, but no, he was a fine actor. I mean, he did a lot of stuff for
Oh,
civil
sure.
rights.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
things like that.
Good.
Marshall. So
Nice.
I saw him in that episode with Bill Bixby, the Incredible Hulk.
Oh,
He
really?
plays this bad guy because the Hulk was in Vegas, right? And so Don Marshall's character was like one of those mobster guys, you know, hood kind of guy.
Right.
How they portray black people.
Right.
And so they had a scene where Don Marshall kidnaps Bill Bixby's character. They
Oh.
throw him in this like big pit, and they take this bulldozer and they throw dirt all over
Oh,
him.
my
And he
goodness.
goes, and he turns into a Hulk. You see this green hand coming out. And he gets out of the dirt pile and he goes after Don Marshall. He grabs him, he tosses him way out there. Then Marshall pulls out this gun and shoots the Hulk in the arm, which ticks the Hulk off even more.
Oh,
He's like, and he really went after him. He took the big bulldozer and he flips the bulldozer
Oh,
over.
my goodness.
Yeah, that was quite a scene.
I bet.
But
Wow.
yeah, Don Marshall was quite the actor. He did a lot of television shows.
Yeah, he did.
A
He did.
lot. And he was on the Star Trek Galileo 7 episode.
Oh, right.
That was a good one too.
That was, yeah.
And
That
so
was.
on. So, yeah, I think the world will
Wow.
miss him, for at least the people that remember
Oh,
him.
sure.
He's going to be well missed.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
anyway, that's my little quick tribute to Don Marshall. He was one of the first African-American lead actors, too, stuff like that.
That's great.
But he'll always probably be remembered, probably most for Land of the Giants.
Yeah,
and stuff like
probably
that.
so.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the handful that are alive now, they're like well into their 80s.
Of course.
Yeah.
That was in the
So
60s, 70s?
Early 60s,
Yeah.
like something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 50 years ago.
Even before Star Trek, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it was
I
before
think so.
Star Trek. Land of the Giants. See,
That's when science fiction was popular. It's not anymore, it seems like.
I know. I know.
And it's
something
too
like that.
bad.
Well, I think popularity of science fiction really took off after Star Wars to me,
Yeah.
because people. It used not to be socially acceptable to be a science fiction fan. In some ways, it
Yeah.
still isn't, but after Star Wars, it became acceptable, and everyone just kind of wanted at least to see Star
Oh,
Wars.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, do you
There were a
watch-
lot more science fiction toys after that, and laser guns, but
Yeah.
now interest in sci-fi has really dropped off again. You know,
Yeah, it has. It has.
well,
do
you know, we're
watch,
in a computer age too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like a different time.
it is.
So,
Well, do you watch The Big Bang Theory?
I've tried to. I can't get into it.
I love those guys. They're all nerds and they all.
Oh, did you hear they're gonna have a spin-off of the Big Bang?
They are?
I saw that on the computer news. CBS is introducing a spin-off. Probably that character, that lead guy. That's a real smart
Sheldon?
one with the
Yeah.
with the girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what CBS. I don't know if that's gonna come
I
to
hope
pass.
not. I hope
'cause-
they keep it the way it is because the four of them are so.
No, I know. I
good
realize,
together.
and sometimes that could be a
You know?
risky venture when you have a
Yeah,
spin-off
no kidding. I mean,
and stuff.
Sheldon's good because he plays off the other characters.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're all nerds, and they're all socially inept, except, Wolowitz got married, and Sheldon has a girlfriend, and Leonard got married. I don't know about Kutrikali.
Well, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. And of course, the new Star Trek comes out later. on
Yes,
this year,
can't
too.
wait.
I can't wait for that.
The new Shatner
Yeah,
version.
I can't wait for that.
And they didn't announce who the actors are, but I
Okay.
assume they'll be all obviously younger.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure. Oh,
And they'll probably be all chiseled and good
Right,
looking.
right.
That's,
Yeah, the one
that's-
thing I love about science fiction is that it gives us hope for the future.
Yeah.
Well, they did
You know,
have a
that there
small
is
trailer.
gonna
They
be a
showed the new
future.
Enterprise. It was all fancy.
Oh,
looking.
sure. Well, they've
Yeah.
got to update it.
Yeah,
you know.
it's very, very high tech.
Nice.
Update.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah.
And you know what? There's so many things that were on the Enterprise, like the little discs they put in for the computers. We
Yeah,
have those.
yeah.
Yeah.
Those are all come true. You
Well, I
know?
think Skype is amazing.
Yeah. Oh, it's wonderful.
It's like the Jetsons, you can see,
Yeah.
See the
person
person
on
you're
your
talking to, yeah.
screen, yeah.
Yeah.
That was
so all
unheard
those,
of when I
all
was in
those
high
things
school.
are,
Yeah.
are coming
Absolutely
to pass.
unheard of.
Yeah.
Even that was mind blowing.
Well,
and
cell
I used to watch the
phones.
Jetsons. It seemed so futuristic.
I
at the
know,
time,
and now
so.
it seems so outdated,
Yeah.
But yeah, but they didn't have cell
Well, we don't
phones,
have
we were-
robots doing our laundry for us, so.
We have
Well,
robots
yeah,
doing
no,
our
Rosie.
vacuuming.
Yeah, but it's not the same as a robot you can talk to that does your dishes and laundry and sweeps the floor for you, like
Who knows?
Rosie.
That might
Yeah.
be coming.
Yeah. Oh, they have them, but not for the general public.
Yeah.
They do exist.
All right, everyone. Do you have any final words you want to say, Louise? Or
Just hope everybody has a great St. Patty's Day. Eat lots of corned beef and cabbage and drink Guinness.
I want to have some too. You're not going to make any this year, are you?
Well, for me, just for me, you know. I mean, like if I can find a piece small enough that I can eat it in 2 or 3 days, then yeah.
Okay. Well, if you decide you want to have company, let me know.
Okay, we'll do.
And then any final things you want to say?
Yes, there were these 2 washing machines, and they went to the St. Patrick's Day parade. It was very fascinating. But then there was this one dishwasher that went there too, and the dishwasher stuck out its tongue at the washing machines, and the dishwasher started to smile, so the washing machines got mad and left, and as they were leaving, they started screaming about algebraic equations. Ha ha! Just on the fly. Couldn't think of anything else, but yep.
Okay.
Wasn't that fascinating?
I always tell him don't quit his day job.
Yeah.
He would be a stand-up comic.
Yeah.
I may talk about that sometime on a future show.
Yeah.
Stand-up comedy. Boy, that'd be a tough way to make a living, wouldn't it?
Oh my
Yeah, it would
gosh.
be.
Yeah.
Oh my
You gotta have
goodness.
some pretty thick skin to do that.
Yeah. Have you seen these new comics on these late shows?
Nope.
Man, they're like traveling everywhere trying to get that big break.
Oh yeah. Do
It's
they
not
still?
like the days of Carson when
I know.
Yeah.
everybody saw you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we got the computer age and everything, so I think it's probably harder to break through that.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And the material too. So, but yeah, that's the last job in the world I'd want to be as a comedian,
No
Mm-hmm.
kidding.
especially if you're not funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've heard some stories of the famous younger comedians we have today, how they just did shows and shows and it didn't work.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing.
There's nothing worse than telling a joke and having nobody laugh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, actually, I don't care. I don't care one way or the
Well,
other.
no, that just would be that would just, I guess you'd be worried about where your next meal is coming from.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. If that's all your bread and butter, yeah, you know.
Yeah, that'd be scary.
Yeah, you better get some good material and relevant stuff out with
Mhm.
these days.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll probably save that for another topic.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it's St. Pat's, and I'll load this up later on today.
All right.
So I'll tell the television audience, on behalf of all 3 of us, wish everybody a happy St. Patrick's Day. And on my left, again, a lovely Louise Bundy, hostess of the new Lawrence Welk Show, and affectionately our aging rocker Emmett. And you look great with that hat.
Thanks.
And you can't judge it by that television screen. I'm sure it shows up on the other one.
I hope so, yep.
So until our next show, Maranatha. I never get tired of that.
Yeah.
I know.
It's a great ending.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that performance at the Missoula.
Oh yeah. Like the double tree.
Yeah, the Double
Sure.
Tree. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
They just want stuff related to the Wizard of Oz.
Oh,
and
okay.
Just the normal stuff. They're gonna probably have costumes and
Oh,
stuff like that.
nice.
So that'd be fun.
Nice.
So I'm gonna start practicing and getting prepared for it.
Sure.
Well, you guys make yourself at home. I'll shut
All
everything
right.
down.
Well, I've got to get going, unfortunately.
Yes.
Oh. Good to see you in good health.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.